Hello, this is DKR Sports Radio. This is our first segment of the Fantasy Football Update, and I'm your host, Billy Frey. We're going to be running through the rankings of all the positions for this upcoming week for fantasy football, and then I'll be running through some risers at each position that may be on your waivers, may be available in leagues you might want to check out. Okay, so first we're going to look at the quarterbacks. The quarterback rankings, a very important position. I suspect a lot of these quarterbacks I'm about to rank, and all the players I'm going to rank, are already taken on many teams. So bear with me. And they're going to be funky ranks. We're not including players who have bye weeks. Players who have off weeks are not included. So the 10th ranked quarterback for fantasy football going this week is Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has been phenomenal so far to start off his rookie year. Very impressive. Dak Prescott so far, his fantasy totals are 10 points for week 1, 17 for week 2, and 22 for week 3. And that's for a standard ESPN fantasy football league. He's going to do great this week. He's playing the 49ers, and they got a weak defense. He's the 10th ranked. Number 9, we got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, quarterback for the Washington Redskins. He's been slowly getting better, progressing each week. Week 1, he only had 9 points. Not really much to think about there. Then week 2s and week 3s, he got 18 and 19 points. So we see massive improvement from quarterback Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins is a riser, and not only that, he's playing Cleveland, and we all know what Cleveland is like. Our 8th ranked quarterback going into this week, quarterback Andy Dalton, Cincinnati Bengals. Andy Dalton is a very consistent quarterback, very respectable. I expect good things from Andy Dalton. Not only he's playing Miami, a weak defense, but he's been very consistent so far, putting up 16 and 18 points week 1 and 2, and he had down week 3, 10 points. But you know what? I see high success from Andy Dalton week 4 against the Miami defense. Our 7th ranked quarterback Oakland Raiders, Derek Carr. Derek Carr came into the league and he was often overlooked because his namesake, David Carr, close to his brother. But you know what? He had a pretty good year last year. The Raiders are starting off well this year. Derek Carr's fantasy total so far are 21 and 24 weeks 1 and 2, and only 11 week 3. He had a down week last week, so he drops bits in the rankings. But you know what? He's doing great so far. He's playing Baltimore. They're an older team, older defense. They're a bit slower, and Oakland is really young, so expect big things from Derek Carr. Our 6th ranked quarterback, a popular fantasy quarterback, obviously taken. Disappointed a lot of people last year, quarterback Andrew Luck, Indianapolis Colts. Everyone knows Andrew Luck, first round taken from Stanford. Andrew Luck's been a bit down so far. He's gotten worse the past couple fantasy weeks, so he's down in the rankings. He got 35 points week 1, impressed everybody. The past week's 9-13, so he falls in the rankings. But Andrew Luck is still worth starting. He's playing Jacksonville, and Jacksonville, honestly, they've been a bit of a disappointment so far. They've always been free agency. So Andrew Luck's worth trying out, ranked number 6 right now. Our next ranked quarterback, number 5, is Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer has been very consistent despite last week's performance. He had a down week 3 points. Weeks 1 and 2, though, he had 18 points and 24 points. Very respectable. He's playing, I believe he is playing the Rams, the LA Rams. The Rams are pathetic at best. The LA Rams suck. Jared Goff's pitiful, but we're talking about the defense. Usually the Rams don't have a great defense, but a lot of players left through free agency, James Laurinaitis and Janoris Jenkins, but I expect Carson Palmer to light up the Rams like he always does. Number 4 ranked quarterback is another popular name, Cam Newton. Been a bit of disappointment for me. Panthers haven't met my expectations so far. They lost last week, and Cam Newton so far are 20, 29, and 12. Bad week last week. Still a great quarterback, dual threat, so worth starting. Next one's a bit cautious. It's Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons at number 3. He is among the top. We're now at the people who are the top 3 in rankings now for passing yards and Matt Ryan has started off great, probably the greatest he started off in a while, but the only concern about him and why he's not 2, where I would normally put him, is that he is questionable right now for this week, so you risk that when starting him. Just be cautious with that, but if he does play and he's healthy, you're going to do great. Our number 2 ranked quarterback is an oldie but a goodie, New Orleans Saints Drew Brees. Drew's been doing great so far this season, and he's playing the San Diego Chargers, his old team, so I expect him to be fired up, and let's see what happens. And finally, our number ranked quarterback going into the week is Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, the Lions. I'm a big Stafford fan. I loved him ever since he came out of college. I'm so impressed with what he's done so far this season. He's had a 25-15 and 26 week. And honestly, with the loss of Calvin Johnson, I've been none more impressed. He's top 3 for passing yards. I couldn't be prouder of him. And he's playing a lowly Chicago defense this week. So, Matt Stafford, if you have him in your league, make sure you start him. You won't regret it. And I'm going to quickly run through the quarterback risers before I get to the next position. Our rising quarterbacks who may be available in some leagues, the quarterbacks I just mentioned might be all taken. Just going to run through them quickly. Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, though he's on a bye, keep that in mind. Trevor Siemian, Denver Broncos. Tyrod Taylor, Eli Manning, Ryan Tannehill, and Sam Bradford. And now we'll be moving on to the running backs. The running backs are a bit funky. It's always a funky position at running back, but at running back, our number 1, we'll start with 10. I don't want to go jump to 1, but our number 10 is Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, lots of news coming out of the draft. Honestly, he's been doing well, but in terms of fantasy, he's not been doing well enough to be high in my rankings. But he's playing the 49ers, and the 49ers, to be honest, suck. So, Zeke Elliott, you got him. Right now, he's running back 2 potential, low-end running back 1. Next, number 9, I really couldn't choose between them because it's on and off, in my opinion, each week. Last week, we saw both of them blow up, so I just put them both at 9. Devonta Freeman, who broke out last year, and now they got Tevin Coleman. Honestly, if you have either on your team, you can't go wrong with either of them at running back 2. Still, both of them are low-end running back 1, top-end flex. But if you have your only issue is, hey, if you're going against these guys, or B, if you have both of them on your team, which is my situation, you got to choose between which one you're going to start. So, you can't go wrong with either, though. Let's go. Our number 8 running back is running back of Houston, Lamar Miller. Miller, still, even after the bad week against the Patriots last week, he still ended up putting up 10 points. He's been fairly consistent so far. And I think this is the week he breaks out against Tennessee. So watch out for Lamar Miller. He's ranked number 8. Number 7 finally broke out. Showed he still got it. LaShawn McCoy at number 7. LaShawn McCoy put up 23 points last week. Expect bigger things against the New England Patriots, who gave up 10 points to Lamar Miller last week. Our next running back, number 6, comes with a surprise, Jeremy Hill. He put up 21 points last week against a Denver defense, one of the top defenses in the league. He's going up against the Miami defense this week, so expect another big week from Jeremy Hill. Number 5 ranked quarterback, I'm surprised he's this high in my rankings. He's honestly one of my least favorite running backs. I think he's a bust. But Melvin Gordon from San Diego. Melvin Gordon's been extremely consistent in the double digits so far the first 3 weeks in fantasy. The only reason he's not higher in my rankings is he's playing the New Orleans Saints defense, and that defense is always tough. But right now, Melvin Gordon's a solid running back too. Now, Matt Forte is at number 4. I'm a Jets fan, so I'm a bit biased, but Matt Forte, he had a bum week last week because the Jets just did awful. But Kansas City in defense has one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. But I expect Matt Forte to have a comeback week against Seattle, so he's ranked number 4 right now. Number 3, LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount's been tearing down defenses, bulldozing over people. So LeGarrette Blount is at number 3. He's playing against a mediocre Buffalo defense led by the Ryan brothers. Let me tell you, the Ryan brothers, they're overrated. Number 2 is DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray is proving right now to everybody that age is not a factor. Age is nothing. DeMarco Murray is proving he still has it. DeMarco Murray's got a lot of heart right now. He's proven everyone. He's put up double-digit points at a huge week last week. Expect that again against Houston, who just gave up a shit ton of points against LeGarrette Blount. And our number 1 fantasy running back one, almost mentioned before the beginning, David Johnson. David Johnson, I thought lowly of him. I thought he was going to be another C.J. Anderson at the beginning of the season. But you know what? He's proven to me he's right now the top running back in fantasy. You got him, you're lucky. Our running back risers, to run through quickly, they're available in most leagues, quickly being claimed by waivers. But take a look at Isaiah Crowell from the Browns, Christine Michael, the Seahawks, Charles Sims, Bucks, Carlos Hyde, 49ers, and Darren Sproles. He's on a bye, but he's from the Eagles. Ryan Matthews just got injured. So trade Ryan Matthews once again. Cut Ryan Matthews. Pick up Sproles. Sproles had a huge week last week. Now we're moving on to the tight ends. Not the tight ends. We're moving on to the wide receivers. Can't forget that. Wide receiver is going to be a fun one. But our number 10 is Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin coming back from that ACL tear, proving when he still got it, put up big numbers, had a bad week last week. But honestly, I think Kelvin Benjamin comes back this week, puts up stuff. Start Kelvin Benjamin. Our number 9 wide receiver right now is T.Y. Hilton, Indianapolis Colts. He's been terrific so far this season and definitely worth starting. Number 8, it's been a bit down so far. He's actually fallen in the rankings. Odell Beckham Jr. Honestly, he's overrated, but he could put up a big week anyway. He's playing Minnesota, so don't expect much. But Odell, you know what? Could work out, might not work out. Number 7, DeAndre Hopkins had a bad week last week against New England, as all the Houston players did. But DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Period. So you start him. You got him, you start him. Most likely, if you got him, you used a first-round, second draft pick on him. So I expect you to start him. Number 6, Jarvis Landry has been nothing but impressive so far this season. He's one of the leading receivers in receiving yards. And honestly, Jarvis Landry could honestly be pushing into the wide receiver 1 territory. And you're lucky you got him. Number 5, Julio Jones. Everyone last was wondering, where the hell is Julio Jones to put 1 point? Julio Jones, honestly, as I said, a lot of these players we're talking about have had bum weeks of it. And Julio Jones just last week, he's playing Carolina next week. So I'm sorry, he's playing Carolina. He may be. I'm not sure. Just don't fact check me on that. I might be wrong. But you know what? Julio Jones, got him, start him. Nothing wrong with that. He's at least a flex. He's definitely wide receiver 1. But, still number 5 in my rankings. Number 4, A.J. Green. A.J. Green is on my fantasy team. I love him. He's done nothing but good for me so far. He's had maybe 1 or 2 bum weeks. Because we're only 3 weeks of the season, so that means I've only had 1/3 good week. But, I'm fine with that. A.J. Green, though, another one of the most consistent best wide receivers in the NFL. He's playing Miami this week. Miami's got a weak secondary, so expect big things from A.J. Green. At number 3, we got Mike Evans. He's been tearing it down. Nothing but impressive. And he's put up double-digit points every week. He's clearly the leader of the receivers in Tampa. And they finally got that. The only worry is they're playing Denver. And Denver's defense is scary. So, go ahead and start him. But be wary, you might not get the results you want because of that Denver defense. Number 2, falling in the rankings, was my number 1. I was always my number 1. Was on my fantasy team last year, and I loved him. Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown, honestly, has been a tad disappointing so far this season. Not as explosive as he was last year. And, Antonio Brown should maybe pick it up against, but he's playing Kansas City. They got a top defense. And Marcus Peters is a great corner, so who knows, maybe he'll be shut down again. But Antonio Brown's still number 2, and he's a safe wide receiver 1. Number 1, Detroit Lions. Megatron is gone. There's a new man in town. That man is Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones finally broke out last week with 32 points. He proved that Marvin Jones proved that Megatron is gone and it's his time now. You thought Golden Tate was that top receiver? No, it's Marvin Jones. So, start Marvin Jones. Some leagues, he's a flex. Some people still think he's a flex. However, I'm here to tell you, he's wide receiver 1 material because he is the new Megatron. Detroit Lions, Marvin Jones. Now, wide receivers got a lot of risers, a lot of good guys, so bear with me. It's going to be a lot of names. Take out your pencil. There's going to be some guys available in free agency you're going to want to pick up. Quincy Enunwa, New York Jets. Willie Snead, New Orleans Saints. Travis Benjamin, San Diego Chargers. Jamison Crowder, Washington Redskins. Sterling Shepard, New York Giants. Mike Wallace, Baltimore Ravens. Former quarterback, now wide receiver, from Ohio State, the Ohio State University, Terrell Pryor, Cleveland Browns. Stephon Diggs, Minnesota Vikings. And last but not least, the rookie from Houston, Will Fuller V. And those are our wide receivers. Now we'll be talking about our tight ends. Not as exciting for me, so we're going to go a bit quicker. Our number 7 tight end is Julius Thomas. He's not as great as he was in Denver, but still a consistent tight end to have. A bit inconsistency there, but he's got it going for him. Our number 6 tight end is Jimmy Graham, Seattle Seahawks. Jimmy Graham finally had a comeback week. He's been really down lately with that injury coming back from last year, but you know what? I believe in Jimmy Graham. I think he can do well. Number 5 is my guy. I like him a lot. Kobe Fleener, New Orleans Saints. At first, he started off a bit rough, got me worried, but you know what? Pulled through last week, put up a big week, and I finally think Drew Brees has found him, and Kobe Fleener will become a factor. Most Saints tight ends become factors. It just takes a while. So Kobe Fleener is a safe guy. Tight end 1. Number 4, Travis Kelce, big week last week against the New York Jets. Travis Kelce is a great tight end, big body. He should put up good numbers again this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were miserable last week. Number 3, used to be a big fantasy guy, disappeared for a bit. He's back. Tight end, Minnesota Vikings, Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph's been very consistent so far. I'm a big fan of him, and I expect similar production, big numbers against the New York Giants. Number 2, Greg Olsen, one of the most consistent tight ends in the NFL, and he's put up big numbers every week. Greg Olsen's an excellent pick. And finally, our top tight end is none other than Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots. It's pretty obvious. Gronk's the most dominant tight end in the league. It's big numbers. The only issue, he hasn't played or put up any fantasy points this season. I don't know. He might have played last week. I wasn't really paying attention, but Rob Gronkowski's number 1. If he plays, expect big production. If he doesn't play, well, you just waste a fantasy roster spot. Not my fault, but it's just my number 1. And we got 3 tight end risers because I'm not enthusiastic about the tight end position. That's just Jacob Tamme, Atlanta Falcons, Eric Ebron, Detroit Lions, and Dennis Pitta, Baltimore Ravens. We got 40 seconds left, so I'll be just telling you my rankings for my defenses this week. So these are the defenses you want. Number 10, New England Patriots. Number 9, Houston Texans. Number 8, our Carolina Panthers. Number 7 is the Baltimore Ravens. Number 6, Rex Ryan and the Buffalo Bills. Number 5, the Arizona Cardinals. Number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3, led by Von Miller, the Denver Broncos. Our number 2 defense, extremely dominant last week, the Kansas City Chiefs. And so far, our number 1 defense, by far, best in the NFL so far. I'm surprised they're still available in leagues. The Minnesota Vikings. Pick up the Minnesota Vikings. Start the Minnesota Vikings. You won't regret it. They're dominant. They're the best defense in the league right now. Guaranteed. Now, these have been our fantasy football This is the fantasy football update for this week. Keep tuned for next week. This week we focus more on rankings, but next week we're going to focus more on just fantasy news, big breakouts, and just big letdowns. Next week's breakouts and letdowns in fantasy from this upcoming week. And thank you. It's been Bill Frey, and I'm checking out.